Hello everyone. Today, I want to share with you one of the most revolutionary discoveries in weight loss science. For decades, we've been told that weight gain is simply about eating too many calories. But what if I told you that's not the whole truth? What if the real culprit behind obesity isn't calorie excess, but something completely different? The real reason we become obese is not calorie excess, but insulin excess. This isn't just another diet theory. This is a scientifically proven fact that's changing everything we thought we knew about weight loss. Research published in 2024 shows that insulin, not calories, is the master controller of fat storage in our bodies. Think about it. Have you ever seen an obese, wild animal? Lions, tigers, elephants, they all maintain perfect body weight without counting calories. They eat when they're hungry and stop when they're full. What's their secret? They have perfect insulin sensitivity. Today, we're going to uncover this secret and learn how you can apply it to your own life. This discovery is going to completely change how you think about weight loss. No more obsessing over calories. No more feeling guilty about eating. Instead, you'll learn to work with your body's natural insulin system to achieve effortless weight management, just like wild animals do. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is insulin, and why is it so important? Insulin is often called the fat storage hormone, and for good reason. It's like the master key that unlocks your fat cells and tells them whether to store fat or burn it. Picture insulin as a delivery truck driver. When you eat, especially carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas responds by releasing insulin, the delivery truck. Insulin's job is to deliver this sugar to your cells. But here's the crucial part. Insulin decides where that energy goes. When insulin levels are low, your body is in fat-burning mode. Your fat cells release their stored energy, and you burn fat for fuel. It's like your body has a green light to use its fat reserves. But when insulin levels are high, everything changes. Your body switches to fat storage mode. The fat cells lock up tight, and any excess energy gets stored as fat. This is why the calorie theory is incomplete. You could eat 1,200 calories of sugar and 1 to 200 calories of broccoli, and your body would react completely differently. The sugar would spike your insulin, forcing your body into fat storage mode. The broccoli would barely affect your insulin, keeping you in fat burning mode. Now here's where things get really interesting. When you constantly eat foods that spike insulin, your cells start to become resistant to insulin's signal. It's like your cells develop insulin deafness. They can't hear insulin's message anymore. What happens next? Your pancreas starts producing more and more insulin, trying to get the message through. You end up with chronically high insulin levels. And remember, high insulin equals fat storage mode. This is why people with insulin resistance find it almost impossible to lose weight, even when they eat very few calories. According to research published in 2024, people with insulin resistance can have insulin levels that are 5 to 10 times higher than normal. Imagine trying to lose weight when your body is constantly in maximum fat storage mode. It's like trying to empty a bathtub while the faucet is running at full blast. Insulin doesn't work alone. It's part of a complex hormonal orchestra that controls your metabolism. When insulin is high, it suppresses other important hormones like glucagon, which helps burn fat, and growth hormone, which helps build muscle and burn fat. High insulin also affects leptin, your satiety hormone. Leptin is supposed to tell your brain when you're full, but when insulin is chronically high, it interferes with leptin's signal. Your brain thinks you're still hungry, even when your body has plenty of stored energy. This is why people with insulin resistance often feel hungry all the time. Let's take a fascinating journey into the animal kingdom to understand how nature designed the perfect weight management system. The answer might shock you. Wild animals never count calories, yet they maintain perfect body composition their entire lives. When was the last time you saw an overweight lion or a diabetic elephant? Never, right? Wild animals have something we've lost: perfect insulin sensitivity. Their bodies respond to insulin exactly as nature intended. Let's look at a lion. After a big meal, a lion might not eat for days. During this time, their insulin levels drop to almost zero. This signals their fat cells to release stored energy. They literally live off their fat reserves between meals. When the vertebrae finally hunt again, they eat until satisfied, then naturally fast until the next successful hunt. Compare this to humans. We eat breakfast, then a mid-morning snack, then lunch, then an afternoon snack, then dinner, then an evening snack. Our insulin levels never get a chance to drop. We're stuck in perpetual fat storage mode. Even more fascinating is how wild animals handle seasonal changes. Bears eat massive amounts of food before hibernation, storing fat for winter. But notice what happens. They naturally stop eating when they've stored enough fat. Their bodies have perfect feedback mechanisms. Squirrels gather nuts in fall, but they don't become obese. Why? Because they're eating real whole foods that don't cause massive insulin spikes. Their bodies can accurately gauge their energy needs and adjust their appetite accordingly. Humans used to follow similar patterns. Our ancestors would eat more during harvest season and less during winter. They naturally practiced intermittent fasting and seasonal eating without even knowing it. Here's the key difference. Wild animals eat only foods that exist in nature. Every food they consume has been tested by millions of years of evolution. Their bodies know exactly how to process these foods. Humans, especially in the last 100 years, have introduced thousands of processed foods that never existed in nature. Foods with combinations of sugar, flour, and industrial oils that create massive insulin spikes. Our bodies don't know how to handle these foods because they never existed during our evolutionary development. Research from 2024 shows that when wild animals are fed processed human foods, they quickly develop obesity and diabetes, just like humans do. This proves that it's not genetics that make us fat. It's the foods we eat and how they affect our insulin. Wild animals have perfect hunger and satiety signals. They eat when truly hungry and stop when satisfied. They never eat for entertainment, stress, or boredom. Their hormonal systems work perfectly. A wolf will eat a large meal after a successful hunt, then naturally fast until hungry again. Their ghrelin, hunger hormone, and leptin, satiety hormone, work in perfect harmony. They never override these signals. Humans have learned to ignore these signals. We eat by the clock, not by hunger. We eat for social reasons, emotional reasons, or simply because food is available. We've disconnected from our natural hunger and satiety cues. Now that we understand the problem, let's talk about the solution. The good news is that insulin sensitivity can be restored. Your body wants to return to its natural state. You just need to give it the right conditions. The fastest way to restore insulin sensitivity is through strategic fasting. When you don't eat, your insulin levels drop to baseline. This gives your cells a chance to reset and become sensitive to insulin again. Think of it like this. If someone is constantly shouting at you, you eventually stop listening. But if they stay quiet for a while, you become sensitive to their voice again. The same thing happens with insulin and your cells. Start with a simple 12-hour fast. If you eat dinner at 6 p.m., don't eat again until 6 a.m. the next day. This gives your insulin levels 12 hours to drop to baseline. As you get comfortable with this, you can extend to 14, 16, or even 18 hours. Research published in 2024 shows that even a 12-hour fast can improve insulin sensitivity by 25% in just 2 weeks. Imagine what longer fasts can do over time. Exercise is like a master key that unlocks your fat cells regardless of insulin levels. When you exercise, your muscles can take up glucose without needing insulin. This is called insulin-independent glucose uptake. Both resistance training and cardio improve insulin sensitivity, but they work differently. Resistance training builds muscle, and muscle tissue is very insulin sensitive. The more muscle you have, the better your insulin sensitivity. Cardio, especially high-intensity interval training, depletes your glycogen stores quickly. This forces your body to become more efficient at using both glucose and fat for energy. The timing of exercise matters too. Exercising in a fasted state, like first thing in the morning, maximizes the insulin sensitivity benefits. Your glycogen stores are already low, so your body immediately starts burning fat. Poor sleep is one of the fastest ways to destroy insulin sensitivity. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your body produces more cortisol, stress hormone, which directly interferes with insulin function. Studies show that just one night of poor sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by 30%. Imagine what chronic sleep deprivation does over months or years. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Create a dark, cool environment. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bed. Consider blackout curtains or a sleep mask. Good sleep is not a luxury. It's essential for insulin sensitivity. Chronic stress is an insulin sensitivity killer. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, which raises blood sugar and forces your pancreas to produce more insulin. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance. Find healthy ways to manage stress. This could be meditation, yoga, deep breathing, or simply spending time in nature. The key is to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest mode, regularly. Research shows that people who practice stress management techniques have significantly better insulin sensitivity than those who don't, even when eating the same foods. Not all foods are created equal when it comes to insulin response. Understanding the glycemic index, GI, and glycemic load, GL, can help you make smarter food choices that keep your insulin levels stable. The glycemic index measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar on a scale of 0 to 100. Pure glucose is 100. Foods with a high GI, 70 or above, cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Foods with a low GI, 55 or below, cause gradual, gentle rises. Here's where it gets interesting. Some foods might surprise you. White bread has a GI of 75, which is higher than table sugar at 65. Watermelon has a GI of 72, while ice cream is only 51. This shows that GI alone doesn't tell the whole story. Low GI foods include most vegetables, nuts, seeds, and proteins. Medium GI foods include sweet potatoes, oats, and most fruits. High GI foods include white bread, white rice, potatoes, and most processed foods. Glycemic load takes into account both the GI and the amount of carbohydrates in a typical serving. This gives a more accurate picture of how a food will affect your blood sugar and insulin. For example, watermelon has a high GI of 72, but a typical serving only contains 6 grams of carbs, giving it a low GL of 4. White bread has a GI of 75, and a typical serving contains 14 grams of carbs, giving it a high GL of 10. A GL of 10 or below is considered low. 11-19 is medium. 20 or above is high. Focus on foods with a low GL to keep your insulin levels stable. Let's compare some common foods and their insulin impact. Breakfast options. A bowl of cornflakes with milk has a GL of 23, very high. 2 eggs with spinach has a GL of nearly 0. Both might have similar calories, but the insulin response is completely different. Lunch options. A sandwich with white bread has a GL of about 20. A salad with chicken and avocado has a GL of about 2. Again, similar calories, vastly different insulin impact. Snack options. A banana has a GL of 12. A handful of almonds has a GL of 0. The banana will cause an insulin spike. The almonds won't affect insulin at all. This is why focusing on insulin rather than calories is so powerful. You can eat satisfying amounts of low GL foods and still lose weight because you're keeping insulin levels low. Pure proteins and fats have essentially zero impact on blood sugar and insulin. This is why animal proteins, eggs, nuts, seeds, and healthy oils are so valuable for weight loss. Protein also has a high thermic effect, meaning your body burns calories just to digest it. About 30% of the calories from protein are burned during digestion. Compare this to carbs, 8%, and fats, 3%. Healthy fats also help slow the absorption of any carbohydrates you eat with them. Adding avocado to a meal can significantly lower the meal's overall GL. The best approach to insulin management isn't about taking medications or supplements. It's about choosing foods that work with your body's natural systems. Let's explore the most powerful natural insulin management strategies. Whole foods are foods that exist in nature in their original form. They haven't been processed, refined, or chemically altered. These foods have built-in mechanisms that help regulate insulin response. Take an apple, for example. It contains sugar, but it also contains fiber, water, and various compounds that slow sugar absorption. When you eat an apple, your blood sugar rises gently and gradually. Compare this to apple juice, which has the sugar without the fiber and causes a rapid insulin spike. Whole foods also tend to be more filling per calorie. This is partly due to their fiber content and partly due to their effect on hunger hormones. When you eat whole foods, you naturally eat less because your body's satiety signals work properly. Fiber is your secret weapon for insulin management. It slows down the absorption of sugar, preventing rapid spikes in blood glucose. There are two types of fiber, soluble and insoluble, and both help with insulin sensitivity. Soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance in your digestive system, physically slowing down sugar absorption. You'll find this in foods like oats, beans, and apples. Insoluble fiber doesn't dissolve, but still helps by slowing down digestion overall. Research from 2024 shows that people who eat 35 grams of fiber per day have significantly better insulin sensitivity than those who eat less than 15 grams. Most Americans only get about 15 grams per day, well below the recommended amount. How you combine foods can dramatically affect their insulin impact. Here are some powerful combinations. Protein plus carbs. Adding protein to a carb-containing meal significantly reduces the meal's GL. The protein slows digestion and helps stabilize blood sugar. Try adding nuts to fruit or eggs to toast. Fat plus carbs. Healthy fats also slow carbohydrate absorption. Adding avocado to a meal can reduce its GL by 20–30%. Other good options include olive oil, nuts, and seeds. Vinegar with meals. Apple cider. Vinegar has been shown to reduce the GL of a meal by up to 30%. Just 1 tablespoon before or during a meal can make a significant difference. Vegetables first. Eating vegetables at the beginning of a meal can reduce the overall insulin response. The fiber creates a physical barrier that slows the absorption of other foods. When you eat is almost as important as what you eat. Your body's insulin sensitivity changes throughout the day, following your natural circadian rhythm. Insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning and gradually decreases throughout the day. This means you can handle carbohydrates better at breakfast and lunch than at dinner. A 2024 study showed that people who ate the same meal at different times had very different insulin responses. The morning meal caused a much smaller insulin spike than the evening meal. This is why the traditional advice to eat like a king at breakfast, a prince at lunch, and a pauper at dinner makes scientific sense. Your body is designed to handle more food earlier in the day. There are several popular approaches to managing insulin levels. Let's compare 3 of the most effective methods: intermittent fasting, low-carb eating, and evening fasting. Intermittent fasting, IF, is perhaps the most powerful tool for improving insulin sensitivity. By giving your body regular breaks from food, you allow insulin levels to drop to baseline, giving your cells a chance to reset. The most popular IF method is 16.8, eating within an 8-hour window and fasting for 16 hours. For example, eating between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., then fasting until 12 p.m. the next day. During the fasting period, insulin levels drop dramatically. This signals your body to start burning stored fat for energy. It's like switching from a sugar-burning engine to a fat-burning engine. Research shows that IF can improve insulin sensitivity by 20–30% in just 8 weeks. It also promotes autophagy, a cellular cleanup process that removes damaged cells and improves overall health. The pros of IF: simple to follow, no food restrictions during eating window, powerful for insulin sensitivity, promotes fat burning. The cons: can be challenging initially, may not suit everyone's lifestyle, requires discipline. Low-carb eating focuses on reducing the foods that cause insulin spikes in the first place. By limiting carbohydrates, you naturally keep insulin levels low throughout the day. There are different levels of low-carb eating. Liberal low-carb allows 50–100 grams of carbs per day. Moderate low-carb allows 20–50 grams. Ketogenic eating allows less than 20 grams, forcing your body to use fat for fuel. The advantage of low-carb eating is that it addresses the root cause of insulin spikes. If you don't eat many carbs, your insulin levels naturally stay low. This puts your body in a constant fat-burning state. Studies show that low-carb diets can improve insulin sensitivity by 25–40% and lead to significant weight loss. They're particularly effective for people with diabetes or pre-diabetes. The pros of low-carb: directly addresses insulin spikes, allows eating throughout the day, very effective for weight loss, improves many health markers. The cons: can be socially challenging, requires meal planning, may cause initial side effects. Evening fasting takes advantage of your body's natural circadian rhythm. Since insulin sensitivity is lowest in the evening, this approach focuses on avoiding food during the time when your body handles it least efficiently. A typical evening fasting schedule might involve stopping eating at 6 p.m. and not eating again until 7 a.m. the next day. This gives you a 13-hour fast, while still allowing 3 meals per day. This approach is particularly effective because it aligns with your body's natural rhythms. Your metabolism is naturally slower in the evening, and your insulin sensitivity is at its lowest point. Research from 2024 shows that people who stop eating 3 hours before bedtime have significantly better insulin sensitivity and lose more weight than those who eat late in the evening. The pros of evening fasting: works with natural circadian rhythms, allows normal daytime eating, improves sleep quality, relatively easy to implement. The cons: may be challenging for social dinners, requires discipline in the evening. The truth is, all 3 approaches can be effective. The best choice depends on your lifestyle, preferences, and health goals. Some people do well with one approach, while others benefit from combining elements of all 3. For beginners, I recommend starting with evening fasting. It's the easiest to implement and works with your body's natural rhythms. Once you're comfortable with that, You can experiment with extending the fast or reducing carbs. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Any step you take to improve insulin sensitivity will benefit your health and weight management efforts. Now, let's put all this knowledge into action. Here's your practical guide to creating an insulin-friendly lifestyle that promotes natural weight management. Here's a sample day that optimizes insulin sensitivity. On 6 a.m., wake up and drink a large glass of water. Light exposure helps reset your circadian rhythm and optimize insulin sensitivity for the day. On 7 a.m., breakfast, focusing on protein and healthy fats. Examples: eggs with avocado, Greek yogurt with nuts, or a protein smoothie with low-carb vegetables. On 12 p.m., lunch can include more carbohydrates since insulin sensitivity is still good. Focus on complex carbs like sweet potatoes, quinoa, or brown rice combined with protein and vegetables. On 3 p.m., if you need a snack, choose something with minimal insulin impact. Nuts, seeds, or vegetables with hummus are good options. On 6 p.m., dinner should be lighter and lower in carbs. Focus on protein and vegetables. This is when your insulin sensitivity is lowest, so avoid starchy foods. On 8 p.m., stop eating for the day. This gives your body an 11-hour fast until breakfast, allowing insulin levels to drop and fat burning to begin. Small changes can make a big difference. Here are some simple swaps that can dramatically improve your insulin response. Instead of white bread, choose almond flour bread or lettuce wraps. Instead of regular pasta, try zucchini noodles or shirataki noodles. Instead of white rice, use cauliflower rice or small amounts of brown rice. Instead of sugary beverages, drink water, herbal tea, or sparkling water with lemon. Instead of candy or cookies, choose berries with nuts or dark chocolate with 85% cacao or higher. Instead of breakfast cereals, try chia pudding or scrambled eggs with vegetables. Instead of fruit juice, eat whole fruits with their natural fiber. The timing and type of exercise can significantly impact insulin sensitivity. Here's how to optimize your workouts. Morning fasted cardio. 20-30 minutes of light cardio, first thing in the morning, before eating, can improve insulin sensitivity for the entire day. This depletes glycogen stores and primes your body for fat burning. Post-meal walks. A 10-15 minute walk after meals can reduce blood sugar spikes by 20 to 30%. This is especially effective after dinner when insulin sensitivity is lowest. Resistance training. 2 to 3 sessions per week of resistance training builds muscle, which is highly insulin sensitive. More muscle mass means better glucose uptake and improved insulin sensitivity. HIIT workouts. High-intensity interval training depletes glycogen quickly and improves insulin sensitivity. Just 15 to 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week, can make a significant difference. Managing stress and optimizing sleep are crucial for insulin sensitivity. Here are practical strategies. Create a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your circadian rhythm and optimize insulin sensitivity. Manage stress through regular relaxation practices. This could be meditation, deep breathing, yoga, or simply spending time in nature. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which interferes with insulin function. Limit blue light exposure in the evening. Blue light from screens can disrupt your circadian rhythm and affect insulin sensitivity. Use blue light blocking glasses or avoid screens for 1 to 2 hours before bed. How do you know if your insulin sensitivity is improving? Here are some indicators to watch for. Energy levels. As insulin sensitivity improves, you'll have more stable energy throughout the day. You won't experience the energy crashes that come with blood sugar spikes and drops. Hunger patterns. You'll start to experience true hunger rather than constant cravings. You'll be able to go longer between meals without feeling desperate to eat. Sleep quality. Better insulin sensitivity often correlates with better sleep. You'll fall asleep easier and wake up more refreshed. Body composition. You'll start losing fat, particularly around your midsection, where insulin resistance typically stores fat first. Mood stability. Stable blood sugar means stable mood. You'll feel less irritable and more emotionally balanced. The field of insulin research is evolving rapidly. Let's explore some exciting developments that might change how we approach weight management in the future. One of the most promising areas of research is personalized nutrition based on individual insulin response. Scientists are discovering that people can have very different insulin responses to the same foods. Continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, originally developed for diabetics, are now being used by healthy individuals to track their personal responses to different foods. This technology allows people to see in real time how their blood sugar responds to various meals. In the future, we might have personalized nutrition plans based on your individual insulin response patterns. Instead of generic dietary advice, you could receive specific recommendations based on how your body responds to different foods. Research is revealing fascinating connections between gut bacteria and insulin sensitivity. Certain bacteria in your gut can either improve or worsen insulin sensitivity. Studies from 2024 show that people with better insulin sensitivity tend to have more diverse gut bacteria and higher levels of beneficial bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids. These fatty acids help improve insulin sensitivity. Future treatments might include targeted probiotics designed to improve insulin sensitivity. We might also see personalized dietary recommendations based on your individual gut microbiome composition. Currently, insulin sensitivity is difficult to measure accurately outside of research settings. Future developments might include simple, at-home tests that can measure insulin sensitivity regularly. Wearable devices might soon be able to monitor insulin levels in real time, similar to how current devices monitor heart rate and activity. This would allow for immediate feedback on how different foods and activities affect insulin levels. Research is exploring targeted interventions that could improve insulin sensitivity beyond diet and exercise. These might include specific supplements, light therapy, or even targeted medications for people with severe insulin resistance. However, the foundational principles will likely remain the same. Managing insulin through diet, exercise, sleep, and stress management will always be the cornerstone of healthy weight management. We've covered a lot of ground today, but the core message is simple. It's not calories that make us fat, it's insulin. Understanding and managing insulin is the key to effortless, sustainable weight management. Remember the wild animals we discussed at the beginning. They maintain perfect weight because they have perfect insulin sensitivity. They eat real foods, they fast naturally between meals, and they respond to their body's hunger and satiety signals. You can return to this natural state. Your body wants to be healthy and maintain an optimal weight. You just need to work with your insulin system instead of against it. The strategies we've discussed, intermittent fasting, choosing low glycemic foods, exercising strategically, managing stress, and getting quality sleep, all work together to improve insulin sensitivity and promote natural weight management. Start small. Maybe begin with evening fasting, stopping eating 3 hours before bedtime. Or try swapping processed foods for whole foods. Small changes in insulin management can lead to big changes in your health and weight. The best part about focusing on insulin rather than calories is that it's sustainable. You're not fighting against your body's natural systems. You're working with them. You can eat satisfying amounts of food and still lose weight when you choose foods that keep insulin levels stable. This isn't just about weight loss. Improving insulin sensitivity reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and many other chronic conditions. It improves your energy, mood, and overall quality of life. The future of weight management lies in understanding and optimizing our hormonal systems, particularly insulin. As research continues to advance, we'll have even more tools and strategies available, but the fundamental principles will remain the same. Your body is not broken. You don't lack willpower. You just need to understand how insulin works and make choices that support insulin sensitivity. When you do this, weight management becomes natural and effortless, just like it is for wild animals. Thank you for joining me on this journey to understand the real truth about weight gain. Remember, it's not calories, it's insulin. Master your insulin and you'll master your weight.
If you have any questions about health and diet, please reply. I will do my best for your health.